you may need to, okay. Okay, good morning, Angelo. Let's continue. Okay. Anyways, so we're going to review right now the phrasal verbs. Let's take a look at this following slide. And you can see here we have a list of 2 words each. We have figure out, hand in, hand out, look up, put off, put down, pick up, make up, put on, take off, throw away or throw out, turn off, turn on, wake up, write down, call on, come from, get over, get off, get on, get in, get out of, look into, run into, ask out, call back, call off, call up, hang up, and give back. So all of these words, and mostly there's 2. There's this one word, it's 3. These are all phrasal verbs. I'm going to write in the chat what that means. Okay, Lismari, good. And Robert just joined us. All right. So what is a phrasal verb? We have to analyze the 2 words that we have there. So we have phrasal, and we also have verb. So of course we know that verb means action, and phrasal tiene que ver with a phrase. So really a phrasal verb is hold on, I'm still writing it down. Okay, so Derek is having problems. He's going to restart. Okay. So a phrasal verb is a string of words that creates an action phrase. Of course, action just means verb. We're going to see what that means in just a second. For example, here. So we have the phrasal verb call back. If we were to analyze these words literally, then we would be calling and then looking back. But really, that's not what callback means. Callback means that you received a phone call, that you were unable to answer it, and that you will return that call later. Okay? So there is this phrase that implies an action. That's what that is. Of course, when you call up your friend whose call you missed, once you're done, you hang up that phone call. Okay? Anyways, let's continue with the next slide. So, right now we're going to do a writing activity. I want you to go to Canvas, open up the phrasal verbs list, and read it. It's also available right here in this presentation. I want each of you to choose 5 phrasal verbs. I want you all to write a story using the phrasal verbs. Okay, ignore the thing that says strips of paper. I'm going to Okay. Yeah, so write a story using the phrasal verbs. And then finally, read your story out loud. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do that. Just a hint, make sure that you write down that story, because I will be asking you to post it to Canvas later. Si no hoy, I might just do it on Friday. You may be asking yourself that you don't know some of these phrasal verbs. That's okay. Within these 10 minutes that you have to work, you can look up some definitions. You can look up how to use them in a sentence. And of course, you can also refer to Canvas. You can just Google it as well. So I'm going to write in the chat what I want you guys to do, and then I want you to get on it. Okay. Yes, Hennessy, I saw this message earlier, right here. Anyways, let's continue. So what I want you to do is look through the phrasal verbs and write a story using 5 of them. Basically, your story is going to be like a paragraph or so. All right, and the fact that I said story implies that what? That it's not going to be just 5 random sentences. They have to be they have to be linear. They have to be related to each other, okay? So look through the verbs list, take 10 minutes and write a couple of sentences using those phrasal verbs, and then come back and read it out loud for us, okay? So now 8:39, so I'm going to give you actually 11 minutes. So we will be returning at 8:50. And when you're finished, you can just write in the chat that you're finished. Okay? All right, so we'll return at 8:50. I'm going to be right here, so if you have any questions, you can just turn on your mic. You can write in the chat, whatever you like. Right, so it's 8:50. You should have been, you should be finished with your phrasal verb story. Remember, it's just a couple of sentences, 5, 6 at the most. So, is anybody ready? You've already had 10. Let me see. Is anybody ready to present? I should let you know that.
Yo iba un poco abajo, pero no sé si está bien, o sea, de las 5 oraciones.
That's okay. You can say it, and if there is anything that needs to be corrected, I can let you know. Es mejor saberlo ahora que cuando lo suba y enterarte después. So I'm going to show you guys the rubric for how I'm going to be evaluating that. So like I said, you will be posting this on Canvas. While you guys were on break, I added that assignment. So this is the rubric. This is just worth 10 points. Of course, this is an example rubric. So of course I have these fake names down here. What I'm going to be looking for is these two things right here. Oh my God. Okay. So it's just the correct use of phrasal verbs and whether or not this story is coherent and that it is grammatical. So let's say that the way that you're writing this sentence is in the past tense, but then you use the phrasal verb in the present tense. That would be -1 because you need to make sure that you use these phrasal verbs correctly. You have to conjugate those verbs. So if your sentence is in the past tense, so does your phrasal verb need to be in the past tense. And of course, this part here, coherent story, just means that they're not just random sentences, but it is actually all connected to each other. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking for. And of course, the first 3 students to present get a bonus 1 point. So you can get a total of 11 points at this assignment if you play your cards right. So was it Nayeli?
Sí.
All right, go right ahead. Lo que te corrige ahora no te quita puntos, so you're at an advantage.
Today we were in Grandma's house and my cousin threw up all the food. So my aunt sprang up and take him to the doctor. My grandma has to wash out the vomit. My mom said that I have to bring down the candies if I don't want to pass the same. Later that night we ran away to get some sleep.
Okay, so that was coherent. That was all connected to each other. There is one little error in that first sentence. You're talking about your cousin who vomited, and you said throw up, which is in the present. You have to conjugate throw into the past tense, which would be so just like I wrote in the chat. So instead of throw up, we say threw up. Okay?
Okay.
So, exactamente como dije. You were talking about a sentence that is in the past, but then you used a verb that was in the present. So you have to make sure that that verb is in the past. And of course, throw and through is an irregular verb. We're going to see that a little bit later today. Okay, so Nayeli, that was good. Everything else is good. So make sure that you change that verb from throw to through, como estoy seleccionando aquí en el chat. And let me just disconnect the laptop. Okay. And once you write that, you can just upload that to Canvas at any time, right here in the phrasal verb story assignment. And you can just publish it. You can either upload a Word document or you can just type it in the text box. That's fine. So, all right, let's go back to the meet. Okay. Pues necesito una segunda o un segundo. So let me just mark that Nayeli went first, so she gets that bonus point. Nayeli, where are you?
I want to go in 3rd place.
Okay, well, we need somebody to go in 2nd place first. So who else is ready? I'm gonna start calling names. Alexis, are you ready?
Me falta una oración.
Okay, what about Angelo? Okay, he is so not ready, he left. Derek, are you ready? Or Gabriela? Okay, Angelo is back. Sure. Julianis, if
Presiona un button.
Angelo, no te entendí. ¿Qué dijiste?
Presiona el botón que no era.
All right, don't worry about it. So, Julianis, yes, of course you could. Okay. So, Julianis, yesterday Alex asked out to go to the park. I had to wake up very early. So when he called up, I will be ready. He looked up for a good spot and we passed the day there. It was a beautiful day and he helped me get over all the issues I had. Okay, so this is mostly good. You still have to conjugate some verbs. So I'm gonna highlight some of them. So Agi, yesterday Alex asked. Okay, yeah, with that first word, we know that this sentence is going to be in the past tense. So that verb ask has to be conjugated in the past as well. Ahora mismo está en presente. So how do we put a verb in the past tense? We add what? Exactly right. So yesterday Alex asked. Oh, y también falta another subject. So who did he ask out? And I'm assuming that in this case it would be you. So yesterday Alex asked me out to go to the park. That makes more sense. Good. I had to wake up very early. Good. So when he called up, I will be ready. So now you have, it's a little bit confusing now because the first sentence was in the past tense, but now this third sentence is changing between present and future. So you could change, so when he called me up, I was ready, which makes it past tense completely. Or you could just make it, full future. So I will be ready when he calls me up. It's not bad. No, but let's just keep it in the past. So when he called me up, I would be ready. He looked up for a good spot, and then we spent the day there, would be a better verb. It was a beautiful day, and he helped me to get over all the issues I had. Okay. So you have phrasal verb ask out, had to wake up, that's 2. Call up, that's 3. Look up, that's 4. And get over would be 5. Okay. So Yelianis, just make sure that you conjugate those verbs and put them in the past tense if necessary. And if you do that, that should be fine. Okay. You got it. So, Hennessy, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Let me just add this point to
I'm gonna
Yelianis and
say,
you can start speaking. Yes?
okay, I'm gonna say it, and I was typing in the message, but I'm gonna say it first, okay?
Sure.
Okay. My sister was playing with her toys, and I say her, put down your toys. You need to hand in your homework for today. I recommend her to look into the presentations. Amanda said that she don't want to hand in the work. I said it that I'm going to call up my mom, and she immediately write the homework.
All right, good. So the sentences are connected to each other. There are a couple of verbs that, like I said, you're using a sentence in the past tense, but some of your verbs are in the present tense. So you have to make sure that you change those verbs from present to the past. So that last sentence you used, it was like write down the homework. So write está en presente, you need to make that in the past tense. How do you do that?
Writing.
No, that's progressive.
Progressive.
Recuerda que write is an irregular verb y no se le
Wrote.
añade. There you
Yes.
go.
Yes.
So she wrote down her assignment. That would be good. So verifica que all your phrasal verbs are in the past tense, and then you should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. Thank you. So ya tengo a Jelianis y Nayeli and Genesis that went. We have time for maybe 2 or 3 more. So who else is ready?
I want to go.
Okay. And who is speaking? Because I can't see.
Derek.
Derek. Okay, good.
By the way, if I suddenly just leave, it's just because my Wi-Fi is being a bit of a prick right now.
Yeah, I've noticed you've come and gone a couple of times. It's okay. So yeah, just let us know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start reading it. The Song of the Wind. A sound many people know but cannot make out its content. Some have tried to break down the very song down to its core in order to understand it. However, the wind is unpredictable and volatile at times, so the souls who reside under its very flow fear, and yet there are some who dare take on the challenge to understand its very song. Those who
Okay.
challenge the wind must prove that they are worthy by surviving an impending storm. The ones who succeed understand it. Those who do not face a terrible fate. And that would be it.
Okay. Um, I think it's one of those that I need to read so I can grasp the phrasal verbs because I didn't really quite catch any phrasal verbs. Si
I
bien,
I
ah,
use make out, take
okay.
on,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna post it on Canvas.
Okay, sure. You can also write it in the chat, and si lo escribe en el chat ahora, la corrección es gratis. You don't lose any points.
Okay, I'll do that then.
All right. Thank you, Derek. En lo que él hace eso, who else would like to go? We still have another 3 minutes que nos da break para hacer todo lo que quiero hacer.
I can do mine.
Okay, Jose.
Okay. So yesterday I woke up to 5 missed calls of my sister. I quickly called her back to know if everything was okay, but she didn't pick up. I was very confused because she usually answers me really fast, but not this time. I kept going with my day with the intention of going to her house to see if she was okay. Later that day, when I was getting food, I ran into my sister's boyfriend, and when I asked him about my sister, he acted like he didn't know me. I was very confused, but I continued to go to my sister's house. When I arrived, she wasn't answering my calls. It was like she turned off her phone. I saw her I saw her car in the house, so I decided to break in. When I entered the house, she acted like she didn't know me and called the cops. In that very moment, I woke up and realized that it was just a weird dream.
All right.
It's
So
a little
actually you
weird,
used,
but
I'm sorry, the last part, te interrumpí, no te escuché bien.
the story is a little weird, but it's the only thing I could come up with.
No, that was good. That was very surprising. It's very nice. Me fijé que you used more than 5 phrasal verbs. That's good. Um, I caught most of them, so I think you were good. I don't think you need to change anything about the how you wrote them. I think that was pretty good, Jose. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So if anybody would like to go, me da tiempo para uno más, and then we can continue with the rest of the course. Oh, Josue. Okay. I figured out.
Hello.
Okay, Jose, go right ahead.
I figured out how to wake up in the night when nightmares appears. I tried to wrote down everything that came from my dreams and used this to take off everything bad feeling that rest in my mind.
Okay, so en el caso tuyo, Josue, you only have 3, que son wake up, write down, and take off. So you need to add another sentence or 2 para que puedas cumplir con los 5. But what you have here, I figured out how to wake up in the night. Okay, good. En este caso, nightmare doesn't need el apostrophe S, so you can remove that. I try to write down everything that, oh, excuse me. En este caso, wrote down is good, pero el try, you should conjugate it to TRIED. Tried to write down everything that came from my dreams and use this to take off every bad feeling that rests in my mind or rested in my mind. Not bad. Okay, very good, Josue. So make sure that you add 2 more phrasal verbs here. El Dalis is here. Okay. Genesis, my sister was playing with her toys, and I told her to put down the toys. You need to hand in your homework for today. Good. I recommended her to look into the presentations. Amanda said that she doesn't want to hand in the work. I said that I'm going to call up my mom, and she immediately wrote it. Okay, so you said put down, which is 1. Hand in, that's 2. Look into is 3. We have a repeat here, hand in, so I'm not going to count that one. I'm going to call up my mom, so call up. Okay, so right now, Genesis, como repetiste uno, I'm not going to mark that one. You need to use different ones. So you have 4. Make sure that you add another sentence or that you change that second hand in. So you have this one over here and then another one over here. You don't have to change the sentence. You could just add another one.
Okay, but is like good and typing or no?
Okay, let me check. My sister. Okay, en este caso said lo cambiaré para told. And I told her to put down the toys. Okay, you need to hand in your homework for today. That's good. I recommended her to look into the presentations. That's good. Amanda said that she doesn't. En este caso sería does not. So doesn't, does apostrophe NT. Want to hand in the work. I said that I'm. Este I'm sería I apostrophe M. Going to call up my mom. And she immediately wrote it. Okay, so it's just that. Cambia said for told. And ¿qué era lo otro? Doesn't. And el apostrophe entre la I y la M, and everything should be fine. And con esto terminamos, because I need to talk about something else. So terminamos con Alexia aquí. One day, the child woke up at 12 p.m. He had to put off his alarm. He doesn't like to get up early, and that's why he snoozed his alarm until that hour. Okay. He looked into his phone, the social media, and look up in the calendar the activities of the day. So I would actually remove this. He looked into his phone and looked up in the calendar the activities of the day. Minutes later, his mom called up the child because he had to pick up and eat the breakfast. Okay. There's a couple of things here. So put off is good. The child wakes up at 12. He doesn't like to get up early. That's why he snoozes his alarm until that hour. He looks, yo eliminaría esto, lo de social media. I mean, it's fine if you leave it, but I think the sentence flows better without it. The activities of the day. Minutes later, his mom called up the child, called con ed al final, because he had to pick up and eat the breakfast. Okay, that's good. And we still have just enough time to complete the next task, which is, come on, there you go. So this is irregular verbs. So we've had phrasal verbs, which of course are phrases that are verbs. And now we have irregular verbs, which we briefly discussed in our last class. Remember that those are verbs that you can't conjugate by adding D or ED at the end. So what I want you to do is I want you to read the following sentences. I want you to use the verb that's in the parentheses, and I want you to write the past tense of that verb. Let's take a look at number 1. I'm assuming you guys can see the presentation. So we have, she bring some chocolates to the party. We're going to take this verb bring and we're going to put it in the past tense. Okay. Remember that the irregular verbs list is on page 32 of your book. If you don't have the book, let me know and I can send you some PDFs of the book that I have. So how do we conjugate bring into the past? You can either turn on your microphones or write in the chat. Sorry, somebody said something?
Yeah. She brought.
Okay. Hold on. Who was this? Okay, Nayeli, write me later, okay?
Lascano.
Okay, Jose, thank you. Okay, I'm going to close this porque me está molestando aquí. Number 2, I forgot I had to add a verb here. I hear a new song on the radio. And this one does heard. All right, very good. I think that was Jose again. And actually, this one, it doesn't sound like an irregular verb because all we did was add D to the end, but it is in the list of irregular verbs. So we're just going to follow that list. Number 3, I read 3 books last week. How do we put read in the past tense? Okay, so Lismari said brought, good. And now Lismari said heard, which is number 2. Let's number 3. How do we conjugate read into the past tense?
Read.
Read, exactly. It se escribe igualito, but we say it differently. We say phonetically read, but you still write read. Okay? All right, so number 4, they speak French to the waitress. Speak
Spoke.
in the past. Very good. Spoke. Thank you. Actually, let me just write it here. So we brought, heard, and then of course read se queda igual. Then we said spoke. And then finally, understand. So how do we say understand in the past tense?
Sería understood.
Exactly right. Thank you. No estoy viendo los nombres, so sorry. So he understood during the class, but now he doesn't understand. I hope this doesn't apply to any of you. Espero que siempre me entiendan. Si no, me preguntan en confianza. Next one. I forget to buy some milk.
Forgot.
Forgot. Very good. And she have a baby in June.
Had.
Had. Very good. Thank you. This one, you lose your keys last week.
You lost.
Lost. Okay, good. Your keys last week. They swim 500 meters, not 500 miles.
They
How do we-
swam.
They what?
They swam.
Swam. Okay, good. Very good. Sometimes people confuse swam with swum, and they sound different. They are both kind of in the past tense, but they have different meanings. So we're going to get into that a little bit later, not today. I give my mother a CD for Christmas.
Gave.
Gave. Muy bien. Okay, let's continue with number 11. At the age of 23, she become a doctor.
Became.
All right, very good. I know the answer yesterday.
Knew.
Okay, exactly right. Knew the answer yesterday. He tell me that he lived in Toronto.
Told me.
Told.
Told. Very good. We lend John 200 pounds.
It's the same, I think.
Very close. La última letra cambia.
Lended.
No, we don't add ed. Recuerda que son there you go.
Oh, okay.
See, because remember that irregular verbs, you do not add ed nor d. Okay, so
Gotcha.
en este caso no. All right. Number 15, she drank too much coffee yesterday.
Drunk.
Okay, I heard I heard drank and I also heard drunk. Drank y drunk es la misma diferencia entre swam y swum, okay? They're both in the past, but they have a different context. So we're not going to get into that today. I don't want to talk about that today. So we're going to go with the correct answer, which is drank. Okay? Otro día le explico why it's not drunk. Continuing. The children sleep in the car.
Slept.
There you go. Very good. Thank you. He keep his promise.
Kept.
There you go. Good. Thank you. I choose the steak for dinner. Eso es cuando me llega el cheque.
I
How do we chose? And how do we write chose?
That's the question.
E. Do we use one or two O's?
I think it's one.
Boom. There you go. Exactly right. The film begin late.
Begun.
Okay, I heard this again. We have began and we have begun. Are you starting to see a pattern? The swam, swum, drank, drunk, began, begun. Cuando termina, when it has a U instead of an A, it's a different tense. Que sí existe en el pasado, but it's a different one that we haven't discussed yet. And it's not coming on the test, que ya me choteé, le explico ya mismito. Anyways, so yes, instead of begun, sería began, como está escrito aquí. And then we have fly.
Flew.
Flew. Y no es flu como la influencia, sería influenza, perdóname. Sería flew, F-L-E-W. And finally, this last slide here, they drive to Beijing.
Drove.
Drove. Okay, good. He teach English at the university.
He taught.
There you go. He taught English at the university. Thank you. I send you an email earlier.
I sent.
Sent.
There. Exactly. We changed that D to a T. Very good. We leave the house at 7 a.m. Past tense.
Left.
There you go. There you go. And finally, he feel terrible after eating the prawns.
It felt.
There you go. So right now you can see on screen all the answers. Empezar desde la uno. So she brought, I heard, I read, they spoke, he understood. Oh, come on. I forgot, she had, you lost, they swam, I gave, she became, I knew, he told, we lent, she drank, the children slept, he kept, I chose, the film began, we flew, and finally they drove, he taught, I sent, we left, and he felt. Okay? These are irregular verbs. Those are the ones that you can't add D or ED to at the end, except this number 2 here, which becomes heard. We can discuss why that's irregular later, ya que el tiempo no nos está dando. So, dije algo y me choteé, so let's just go to the last slide here of this presentation. So, there is going to be a test, and it is going to be this Wednesday, the 16th. Les soy sincero, todavía no sé cómo voy a dar ese examen. I will be requiring some things, though. En lo que yo cuadro lo que quiero hacer, le avisaré. So for now, I'm just gonna let you guys know that the test exists. It is almost done. It is going to contain the tenses that we've worked with so far, which are the simple and the progressive present, the simple and the progressive past. This week, we're going to be working with the future as well. So simple and progressive future. We're also going to have irregular verbs and phrasal verbs. So watch out for that. Como les dije, pues no estoy seguro exactamente cómo voy a dar ese examen. I'm still coming up with some ideas. So cuando me entere, le avisaré. Si acaso decido cómo hacerlo fuera del horario de clase, like let's say un jueves o el sábado, lo que sea, pues entonces le escribiría por Canvas o por portal. Anyways, el
¿Y cómo
lunes...
perdona que hable inglés, en español, cómo
Don't worry
sería
about
el, más o menos, como que, no sé, como que el tipo de, no el tipo de examen, como que la forma en que lo cogeríamos, no sé si me entienden.
Eso es lo que no he decidido todavía, porque por lo menos yo tengo los ejercicios ready. Lo que no sé cómo hacer es cómo ustedes van a tomar ese examen todavía. Estoy todavía pensándolo, le avisaré. Which is why I'm telling you guys in Spanish, porque quiero que estén claros. Van a estar pendientes, le avisaré. Cualquier cosita, si decido fuera de un horario regular, pues entonces le escribiría o por un anuncio en Canvas o por un anuncio en portal. ¿Qué más puedo decirle? Anyways, el lunes, antes del examen, vamos a estar repasando para el examen. So, keep an eye out for that. So, yeah, voy a hacerle una listita de las cosas que vienen ahorita. I'll just upload that to Canvas later. If you have any comments or questions, you can say that in the chat, pero ya estamos tarde. So, if you guys have to go, you can go. Recuerden que mi hora de oficina ahora en 8 minutos. So, I will be seeing you on Wednesday. Son Heidi pregunta, ¿dónde le enviamos las oraciones para que las verifique? Ok, Son Heidi, let's go to, aquí mismo en Canvas, I'm going to go into Student View. Where are you? Ok, ya tengo 3 personas que sometieron. So here in Canvas, you're going to go into week 4, you're going to click Phrasal Verbs Story. And then here you will post the story you wrote using the 5 phrasal verbs. Y aquí te especifico que this story is worth 10 points. The rubric for how you will be evaluated is in the PDF que se llama Review Phrasal Verbs, which is available through modules week 4. You just click on Submit Assignment, and you can either do a file upload or a text entry, and you can just submit the assignment. And of course, I submitted that terrible thing I just did. All right, I hope that answers your questions. Si no, you can just write and we can talk during my professional hour. Guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you for staying a little bit longer as usual. Nos veremos el miércoles. All right, thank you. Son Heidi, José, Jeremy, Guillermo, Derek, Rachel, Josué, Natalie y Lismari. Okay, Robert, Sebastián, Nayeli, Son Heidi, everything good? Okay, Robert, have a nice day. Okay, me quedan Sebastián y Son Heidi y Nayeli. All right, do you guys have any questions? Okay. So... Ok, Son Heidi, no vi que estaba escribiendo en el chat. Ok, mi hora de oficina ahora es mito a las 9:30. So, voy a postear el link aquí. Dame un segundito en lo que lo consigo. So, cuando quiera ir a horas de oficina, you just click here. And you can just click on this copy link. Location. Vamos a ver si lo puedo subir aquí. Ok. So, a las 9:30 eso va a estar abierto and I'll be available there. You got it. Y Sebastián, are you still there? Okay, sure. Cuéntame. Déjame parar la grabación. Hold on.